Go ahead and feed this in there. There's some adjustments also, if you notice. That can slide up and down a little bit. This one can slide up and down. This one can slide up and down. If you match the bolt heads back to where they were, you won't have to deal with it as much. Okay, now we got our regulator situated in place. We've dropped the glass down. One thing we didn't tell you, we held the glass in place with just a little piece of cardboard. We just wedged it in there to hold it there. The part on the regulator that broke off, that was down in the door, is this little gear piece here. It has a wheel on it. This is supposed to be attached to the regulator. This wheel fits into the bottom of this channel here. This channel is the piece that connects to the window glass. So all you got to do is pop that, and you can see, hopefully you can see it on video. All I'm doing is lifting the regulator up. I have the bolts not in place here. All I did was lifted the regulator up a little bit. The top bolts are there. I'm only moving this about an inch. Lift it up a little bit, move the window down to where you need it to be, and slide it in. And if you can see that, all I did was slide that wheel inside the regulator like so. Once that's there, you now have the glass attached to the regulator. Now I'll lift the regulator up, drop it into place where it's supposed to be. Like so. So we got our bolts all lined up. Then I can go back and snug them all down. Now we should be good to go. What I'll do is put the ignition on with this all still apart. Make sure the plastic is out, make sure there's nothing in here, make sure your wire is out. You're going to want to test this before you put it all back together. Make sure, one thing, make sure there's no adjustments we need to do to the glass. One big cause of window regulator failures is the glass not going up the channel properly. In fact, we still have a piece of cardboard in here. Make sure you take that out. You should really lube these slides and make sure that that window has to go inside this channel nice and smooth. We've had a lot of customers put a regulator in, go to use it 2 or 3 times, it gets snagged on this channel, the regulator pops apart again, the cable comes apart. These things should all be lined up properly, a little bit of going up and down. You can see all you got to do is loosen these bolts a little bit to adjust it, and that's all you really got to do. So we'll check this out and see. Basically, once you got it all plugged in, you may have to plug this switch in. I didn't plug this switch in, but if you plug this switch in, it may complete the circuit. I just test it, down and up. It's going up and down nice and smooth. We'll go ahead and clean the window up, and we're going to lube these channels before we give it back to the customer, just to make sure it doesn't bind up again in the future. Now we go ahead and put the door all back together again, and we're good to go. Okay, you basically just reverse the removal procedure. Go ahead and put your vapor barrier back together. One thing, this plastic piece came off of the door panel. If that happens to you, you're going to want to glue that back on. If you look at these little clips, they are notched to where if you would have pulled down or lifted up on the door panel, this would have came off. It's okay, they'll hook right back on there, but if one pops off like so, you got to be a little forceful to get these things off. If it breaks, just pay attention and make sure you put everything back on. They're on there for a reason. You don't want the door wobbling later. So we'll go ahead and put some adhesive on there, get that glued back on. We'll look for any missing clips. Here's one clip missing. I know that's in the door. I'll go ahead and pull that out. Okay, and you got to remember you took these clips off, so we're going to put these back in. Okay, that holds our wire in place. Can't remember for sure if this, I thought this wiring went through this little hole, so I'm going to take the wiring off real quick and mount this up and see where it goes, just to make sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly put this back together, and I'm going to make sure I have the wiring set up before I completely attach it. The lock goes in first. The top part of the door panel has to slide into the window opening. In fact, there's a dew wipe here. It's called a dew wipe, or the window seal, it's called. That needs to be flush with the glass. That protects stuff from going down in the window. So that's why that needs to sit over there. That's also mainly what holds this door on. Very simple. It slides into the little lock. Then we're going to line up all our little pins, which they all pretty much line up already. Before I snap them all on, I want to make sure I have everything I need here for the wiring. You can lift this up and play with it. As I put this back together, remember there was a screw behind this. Okay, snap the speaker in. These wires just kind of fish through here. If you look closely, you can see how they go. This just kind of sits right in here like that. There's a spot so that the wire can be fished through there properly. In fact, it goes right here underneath the door handle, like so. There's a little slot for it to fit in. Kind of fit everything in where it's supposed to go. Oh, we almost forgot to put this back piece on. Once you have the wiring ran, you can go ahead and attach your rest of your door panel piece, or your handle piece here. Just like that. Sometimes these are the hardest parts of the whole job. You want to make sure that wire is run in the little channels because they'll hold you up from putting it back together. You don't really have to fight much of anything if it's lined up properly. Once you get all the screws in, then you can snug them down the rest of the way. You got one more to put there. Snap your window switch back in. Put your little speaker cover back on. Like so. Make sure the door lock still works. I'm going to put this one more screw in, put the cover on, and we're good to go. And that's another video brought to you by Automex.com. Don't forget to put your cover on over here. Again, that just snaps together. And this is definitely an easy do-it-yourself project. Don't pay the several $100s a dealer will charge you. Go to autopartsdirect2u.com to purchase it. Watch our video and you'll be able to do this yourself. Thank you.